I spent a day here in my hometown going video game hunting, going to thrift stores, going to pawn shops, seeing if I could find any interesting video games for a cheap price. It was all very spur of the moment. My father-in-law was in town and he mentioned he wanted to go to some thrift stores. I kind of lit up a little bit. I'm like, ooh, you're speaking my language. And I came away with a whole box. These are not puppy pads. This is, it's a whole box of video games. So I'm gonna go over the haul, go over where I found them. Unfortunately, I didn't really take a lot of footage because I was just kind of spending time with him and hanging out. Didn't want to be walking around, zooming around behind my camera. But I think it'll be an interesting video because I actually played every single one of these games and I'm gonna go over my experience playing them. So it'll be a little hybrid haul / review of the games that I found. So my first find was actually at a pawn shop. And I don't typically go to pawn shops a lot, but there was just one we were about to pass on the way to the thrift store we were going to. So I said, oh, what the heck? Let's pop in and see what they have. And behind the glass, they had Pokemon Ultra Moon for $30, which is a fantastic price for this game. I looked it up. They'd go for $50 in the original case. But they actually had this and Majora's Mask, which was in the Greatest Choice Edition. I just didn't feel like picking that up. But yeah, Pokemon Ultra Moon, I've actually never played this. And all my 3DSs are modded, so like I don't actually physically need the actual game because I can just play it installed on the 3DS. And I don't know, it's pretty cool to have the actual physical Pokemon game, have your save file live in the cart. And modded 3DSs, you can actually back up your saves too. So I could always back up my save and then restart it on the cart if I wanted to. So I don't know, it just seemed like kind of cool to own the actual game for this one. And I know I said earlier I was gonna play all the games, but this one I did not because I kind of wanted to open up the save file live and record it and see what actually lives on it. See if they have like a crazy team or if they've barely made any progress. So we're gonna see, we're gonna pop it in. My 3DS has a capture card, so we're gonna experience this together. I love checking out save files when you find Pokemon games in the wild, so I'm super excited to see what's actually on this thing. All right, here we go, and it works. That was the other thing I was a little worried about, is it not working. An update available for, I do not care, just launch it. I wanna see what's on this thing. I'm so excited. Hopefully there's something good. There's always the chance that there's just no save file at all, but I don't know, I'm hoping for the best. What an awesome startup screen, man. God, this is, I'm just enjoying this. This is incredible. Man, I really need to play this game. This is just, the aesthetic of this just seems so cool. The tropical island. Oh, there's barely a save file. No. Hour and a half. Let's see what they got. One little Litten named Kuro. That's it? Just one Pokemon? Dang it, man. Oh, that's okay. We're just gonna restart the save anyway. Hey, buddy. Sorry you were abandoned. You're safe now from the pawn shop. I'm gonna make sure to transfer this Litten and get it off the game somewhere else to like keep him safe. I'm not gonna just erase him. You'll live on, buddy. You'll be somewhere. I'm not quite sure where, but You'll be okay. We'll keep you safe. So yeah, super cool find. I'm gonna have to go to pawn shops more often because if they're gonna sell me Pokemon games for 30 bucks, I mean, hey, that's pretty cool. They also had a copy of Paperboy for the Nintendo 64. I don't know anything about this game. I came very close to buying it, but I just decided, like, it was $20. I didn't need it. I decided to save my money for other stuff, so took the win and moved on. And next up, I went to a thrift store, and I'd been there a couple times. Oh, the only games I'd ever seen were sports games, like Madden, you know, all that stuff, for $5 each. So I really wasn't expecting much, but then I went to the section where they had the games. They're like behind the counter, and they had tons of stuff. Like, I wish I had taken a photo, because there were like 20, 30 games back there, and they weren't sports. Like, I actually had to pick through and decide what I wanted, because there was some interesting stuff. And the first game that was a no-brainer that I picked up was Skate 3 for the PS3. I have not played the Skate games very much. I have always loved the Tony Hawk games. I like kind of played it once or twice because my brother had this growing up, but I decided to grab it because I love playing my PS3 still and figured this would be a good one to have. And I booted it up, and yeah, man, this game is fun. I still think I prefer Tony Hawk, but it's just a more realistic skateboarding game. But because it's a little bit harder, it's so satisfying to pull off tricks. And I like how it sets you up where like you have to go and just attempt a trick and pull it off. And it's really satisfying when you finally do it. And yeah, there's just all sorts of different fun game modes. Like there was one where there was a race. You had to race against the other guys and try to jump over stairs and hit certain parts without falling off your board and try to get as much speed as you could. And it was actually kind of difficult. I attempted it several times and struggled. but then finally got through it. There's like a typical skate competition where you go and rack up as many points as you can. There's also like a component where you can build your own park. I don't really care that much about that, but it's still pretty cool. And it's just fun to go and explore around the map and find different tricks. Sometimes there's missions where you go to attempt a trick and get a sick photo in the process to put on a magazine cover. So it just feels really realistic. I don't know. I just really enjoy it a lot. I understand the hype. And super glad to have this one. And I feel like I only scratched the surface, but I could totally see why people have sunk hours and hours and hours in perfecting this. I know there was a new skate game that came out that didn't get reviewed very well, so forget the new one. I'm just gonna play this when I want to play skate, so super cool find. Next up, we have Ride to Hell Retribution with this stupid GameStop sticker stuck on it. So this is a funny one because I've actually been collecting a lot for the PS3 recently. And as you kind of start seeing titles over and over again, like you realize there's a lot of commons like Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed and stuff you just see everywhere. It's like the glitter of video games. But when you see a title that looks a little different, it kind of catches your eye. It's like, wait, what even is this? Like I've never heard of this. So I kind of pulled it up on my phone and did some research. And then it clicked in my head. I'm like, oh yeah, I have heard of this game. This is considered one of the worst games of all time. And I don't know if I mentioned, the thrift store was selling all their video games $5 each. So out of curiosity, I looked this up on eBay and it goes for like 30, which is hilarious. A horrible video game that I guess is more of a collection piece that goes for $30. So yeah, to pick this up for $5, it seemed like a no-brainer. And I did pop this in my PS3 and play it. And like you hear on the internet, like, oh, this game's horrible. This is the worst games of all time. It's like, yeah, but can it really be that bad? Yeah, it can. This game is horrible. It's almost like they like started making a video game and never finished it and were just like, you know what, screw it, and just rolled it out. Like everything is half baked. When you ride on your motorcycle, like you can't fall off of it and you mostly just ride in a straight line. It's like, all right, time to go to the next town, and you just drive in a straight line and that's it. If you try to crash like on purpose, it just fades to black and then puts you back where you were. Like you can't fall off of it. And I was actually kind of bummed out about that because I love riding the motorcycle in like Grand Theft Auto and Cyberpunk, where like if you hit things you can fly off, or I don't know. I've always liked motorcycle physics in video games, and this is not it. Yeah, the fighting's really bad. You mostly just press the same button over and over again. Now this is gameplay right here. And like there's a game there that could be fun. They just like, again, it feels like they didn't finish it. And oh my God, the cutscenes. Like you start the game on your motorcycle and then it just like flips and you're somewhere else doing something. I'm like, wait, I don't know if the game had glitched or if I'd actually skipped something, but no, it just kept like cutting to different scenes doing stuff. It was a fever dream. And then the way the characters talk to each other, they just say like really goofy stuff.
Don't you move now, cherry.
Don't you move now, cherry pie. So yeah, I obviously didn't play through the whole thing. Maybe I will one day, because I mean, it is bad, but it is funny bad. Like I was laughing a lot playing this. So I think I will hold on to it, and maybe just if I'm in a goofy mood, like, you know what? Let's play Ride to Hell Retribution. Or like, I could just see like back in the day, me and one of my childhood best friends playing this and just having a great time laughing at it. So pretty cool game to have in my PS3 collection. And there were more games I picked up at the thrift store, because the next one is Marvel vs. Capcom Fate of Two Worlds. I guess this is the third one in the series, don't quote me on that. And I'd actually never played any of the Marvel vs. Capcom games. Honestly, I don't like fighting games a whole lot, but I do really like Marvel, and I think it's pretty cool that they do this blend of Marvel and Capcom characters. And this really shows me I need to play more of these Capcom games, because there weren't a lot of the characters I'm very familiar with. But the game is pretty cool. I like the kind of cartoony art style that it presents, and it is fun to pop in and play. And I could see myself and like a friend enjoying it, since we would both not know how to play. Like, I feel like if I learned how to play this, I would never be able to play it with anybody else, because I would just whoop up on them. And I don't know, the other problem I have with fighting games is if I'm gonna play a fighting game, I'm probably just gonna play Super Smash Bros, because it's just so easy to pick up and almost everybody in their life has played it at some point. But I don't know, it was still kind of a cool one to pick up. I was a little bummed because it didn't have a story mode though. I thought it would be pretty cool to see all the characters interact with each other in a story mode. There's just arcade mode where you can fight the CPU or fight a friend if you have any of those. Didn't find any friends at the thrift store to play with. So yeah, pretty cool game. Unfortunately, with no story mode, all I really could do was mess around and try to learn how to play a little bit. But at least the old Marvel, when they made good movies before they just became watered down like a yearly Call of Duty. That's Marvel now. It's the yearly Call of Duty of movies. But even though that game did not have a story mode, lucky for me, this one did. In the same thrift store, again for $5, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite for the PS4. When I booted it up, I was pleasantly surprised that there was a story mode. And just like I thought it would be, it was cool to see these characters interact. It was cool to see Iron Man and Mega Man team up. It was funny to see Arthur from Ghosts and Goblins fight Thor. And obviously the story is not like anything mind-blowing, but it's pretty cool to see these characters team up to fight Ultron and go hunt for the Infinity Stones. Although it's really funny that Chris Redfield is like a prominent character, just like a regular dude with a gun, trying to fight all of these like superheroes. I mean, I know he fights some crazy characters in the Resident Evil game, but I just thought it was kind of goofy that he like plays a prominent role in the story. And yeah, both of these fighting games are fun to play. They both seem to have good mechanics. I just didn't really, I don't know, bother to learn them that much because again, I don't know, it's not like I'm trying to go online where I would probably get my ass absolutely handed to me. But they're still cool games to have. If a buddy ever wanted to boot one of these up and have Hulk fight Rio, I mean, hey, pretty cool concept. It makes it fun to play these, even though, again, I'm just not the biggest fighting game guy. And the last two games I bought, again, because there were so many, and I really took my time to decide what to buy. Because when I video game hunt, like, I don't like to just buy everything I see. I like to be very selective. Otherwise, you just end up with a bunch of crap you don't need and end up having to like find a way to sell it or get rid of it. So I just like to be selective and choose things that I think are truly interesting and not just buying video games for the sake of buying video games. But the last two I bought were Guitar Hero 3 and 2. Again, for $5 each, I thought that was a great price for these. And they're just in very good shape. Like they all have the case and the manual, the games didn't have any scratches on them. And these are two I actually already had, but when I was looking at these on the shelf, I was like, man, these are just really nice. The copies I have for some reason, I just thought were destroyed. So I got them out to look at, and I am very correct on that. Like this one has a chip on it. The cover art has like water damage. There wasn't a manual, and the disc is
scratched.
I have no idea what this went through to be in this condition. And then Guitar Hero 2 is actually empty. So not sure what happened to that, but for 10 bucks, I was able to get nicer copies that have the manuals that are in great condition. And yeah, I just love Guitar Hero. I will always love Guitar Hero. I'm just so happy I can boot up and play Guitar Hero whenever I want. I actually grew up with the Wii version, but I don't know, I like it on the PS2 because you don't have to put the remote in the guitar and deal with batteries or anything. My guitars, just you plug them in and you play, it's super easy. So super happy to have these in good condition. I'll have to figure out what to do with my broken gross copies now. And those are the last games I got from the thrift store. We moved on and I went to another pawn shop. And this is why I don't usually go to pawn shops. Like it's usually just, like I said, a bunch of common stuff. Call of Duty, sports games, they're usually overpriced or the pricing's like all over the place. I'm usually having to pull the game, look at prices online, making sure I'm not paying 10 bucks for something that I could get for $2 somewhere else. And this pawn shop had a lot of Xbox One games, which I don't really like to buy unless they're super cheap. Like sometimes I'll find an Xbox One game for like $2 and I'll pick it up because 99% of the time they're just games I can get for cheap on Steam and just play on my PC or my Steam Deck. But while looking through the titles, kind of like I said earlier about the PS3, I found one that just kind of piqued my interest that I'd never really seen or heard of, and that was Dead or Alive 5 Final Round for $6. The only thing I knew about Dead or Alive was it's the weird, like lewd volleyball games with like the girls barely wearing any clothes, but this did not look like a volleyball game. Like I knew absolutely nothing about it, and I decided to kind of keep it that way. I looked it up on eBay, saw this usually goes for $20. Not sure why they had it for $6, because they seemed like they were kind of looking up prices for some of the games. But yeah, picked this up for $6, popped it in my Xbox One, and it reminded me why the Xbox One made me really hate video games for a long time. Because I plug in the Xbox One, I boot it up, and the freaking thing needs to update. Every time I boot up the Xbox One, it needs to update. It feels like it doesn't matter if it's been a week, 2 weeks, a month. I don't even know why it still needs to update now in the year 2026, but sure enough, you boot it up, it needs to update. But I honestly felt a little vindicated on why I've been letting my Xbox One collect dust and either play on PC or retro stuff. But I finally got to play the game. It's kind of fun. It's a fighting game. It's a fighting game hilariously like Marvel vs. Capcom, except it feels like a better fighting game. Like it just felt really smooth, and the responsiveness when you hit the opposing character, like it just felt really good to play. And it's a bummer that like I don't know who any of the characters are. There was a story mode that I obviously needed context to because I had no idea what was happening, but it was kind of fun. And there were some goofy moments in the story that made me chuckle a little bit. Like these two guys were on a boat and this guy had brought his motorcycle with him, And the guy said, why'd you bring your motorcycle with you? You're on a boat. The other guy got mad and then you start fighting each other. There's this one where I kept knocking this guy down on this like ice cliff and there are penguins watching. There's another map where there's a monkey watching. So I kind of like this game a lot. Like, it's a really good fighting game. Again, like, I'd love to learn more of the mechanics and learn how to really play. And I did start to learn a little bit because it has a very, very deep tutorial mode with like, I don't know, 50, 100 steps. I think I Googled that the tutorial can take like over an hour to actually complete, but kind of cool that it actually shows you how to play the game. So yeah, it's still kind of cool to find neat Xbox games. At one point, I do want to get an Xbox Series X. So I don't know, maybe this will be a good one to hold on to. But yeah, same problem with the other fighting games. If I learn how to play them and I play with a friend, I'm gonna kick my friend's ass. If I just kind of stay a little blind, if I ever decide to play it with a buddy, I think we could both have a good time. Do I need all these? No. Like I said before, will I probably just play Super Smash Bros. If we're ever in the mood for a fighting game? Yeah. So I don't know, still cool games to have in my little collection I'm curating. And I kind of figured from there I was done, that I wouldn't find much else. I'd kind of already spent enough money and didn't really want to pick up anything else unless I found something really interesting and cool that I just had to have. And sure enough, I found something really interesting and cool that I just had to have. And that is Nightmare Creatures with a bunch of random writing on it, as well as this weird sticker on the back. But yeah, Nightmare Creatures for the Nintendo 64. I found this at an estate sale store. The company that runs this store runs estate sales across the city, which if you're not familiar with estate sales, it's basically yard sales where you go in the person's house and they're just selling everything. It's usually if they're moving and trying to just liquidate everything, or the person is no longer with us. And their store usually just, I don't find anything interesting because it's like the stuff that nobody bought at the estate sale that ends up at the store. But when I walked in, right up front, there was a Nintendo 64 they were trying to sell for like $200 or something insane. So I didn't have very high hopes for this, but the game was labeled 20 bucks and they were having a sale on their whole store where everything was half off. So I got this for $10, which was super pumped up for that. I love buying Nintendo 64 games, although it's kind of silly because I have a summer cart which just has all the games loaded on them. So I really don't need the physical games. But when I find them in the wild and find them for cheap, it's really hard to pass up. I mean, it's just really cool to play the game on the original cart. And this is one I'd kind of heard of and was interested in trying out, especially because I don't have a whole lot of rated M Nintendo 64 games. Yeah, I'll pop this in. It is nothing special, but it's almost like a Souls-like for the Nintendo 64. Like, you play as one of two characters. I picked the guy who's apparently not as good as the girl, so it'll be kind of cool to try it again and play as the girl, who apparently is a little bit better. But yeah, it's like a Souls-like with old school tank controls, like a Resident Evil game. Like, when you're in the area, you have to move your character forward. Like, it's not typical analog controls, it's tank controls where you walk in the direction you're facing. And I had fun with it. I mean, it is fun to just play an old retro game. You're going through these creepy environments and fighting all these creepy creatures and trying to conserve health. There was some goofiness, like there was a dumb part where you needed to platform that I messed up twice. And one of the times when I messed up, it was my last life and I got a game over. And there are like similar mechanics to a Souls game, like dodging, and it is fun to fight these creatures and try to conserve health because your health carries over level to level. Like, I'm pretty sure you can essentially soft lock yourself if you have too low health with no health potions as you progress. So there's a lot of incentive to get good at the game and progress while conserving as many health potions as possible. So I played through this for several hours and had fun. And I think I would like to go back, play as the girl, maybe like around Halloween time. Like, I kind of have this idea in my head where I want to play a horror game on every console as it gets closer to Halloween. So this might be my pick for that. So just super fun. A game that I would have never bought if it weren't for finding it for cheap at that estate sale store. And honestly, was probably my favorite find of the day, just because I love finding Nintendo 64 games in the wild. So yeah, it was a super fun day. It was super fun to hang out with my father-in-law and just do something that we're both interested, even though he didn't really care about the video game side of things. It was just a cool day to spend with him. Like, video game hunting has become a little bit special for me because it's something I can kind of go do wherever. Like, any town I visit, any place I go, there's always retro video game stores or thrift stores to go and find something. And it makes your collection a lot more special when the games you have memories attached to it. Like, it's super cool that anytime I play this game of Nightmare Creatures, like, there's a story behind it. It was the day I was out with my father-in-law having a good time. And I highly recommend, like, if you have a friend or a partner or a family member that's not interested in video games and video game hunting is something you might like, go take a friend or whoever out and just go to thrift stores, because anybody can have fun looking at thrift stores. We're all human. We all love love spending money. You can always find things you enjoy. Like, my wife was hanging out with one of her friends, and she told me, like, hey, if you see a cookie jar, like a very specific request, if you see a cookie jar out there while you're looking around, like, grab it for me. We'd really like to have one for our daughter. And sure enough, I found one. I don't think I took a picture of it. I'll flash it if I do, but I don't know. It's just really cool when you take somebody out that has like another separate goal in mind to go thrift. Like, okay, I really want to pick up this. You kind of get an excuse to go out and look at video games. It's always a win-win. So adding it all up, I spent $71 with taxes, probably more like 85. Looking up all the games on price charting, this is the total value. So I spent $85 and they're all worth whatever this is. So overall, it was a great day. It was a huge success. I went in with zero expectations. I expected to find nothing. It seems like it's getting harder and harder to find stuff out there because there's a lot of like resellers and people doing the same thing, going out and gobbling up any video games they can find to put in their own collections or to sell. And I don't really blame anybody for it. I mean, it's obviously just fun to do. It makes sense that there's other people out doing it. So if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, click buttons, all that good stuff. I have some other hauls from like GameStop and other places that I've bought, and I'm thinking about doing similar videos like this where I go over the haul, play the games, give my takes on them. So if you like this kind of format style, let me know. Appreciate you watching. ScootTube out.